Hey, welcome to our interview with an Albany Brew Crafter. Today we're talking to Bret Baker. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Bret is one of the, you're not one of the founding members, but you were one of the original people to join the club, right?
Yeah. It was soon after it came to Albany, I believe second or third month that they were having meetings, and I started attending.
Cool. And you brought homebrew. This is a wit beer?
It is a wit beer. I tried to make a juniper wit, but as you can tell in the aroma, there's not much juniper there at all. I can't really pick it up.
I don't really know what juniper is.
Are you familiar with gin? It's kind of like a piney spruce type flavor.
I almost get like pineapple.
I only used a ½ ounce, and I really wanted to use at least an ounce, and I think next time I'll probably double or triple the amount I use. But all in all, it's not terrible. It's slightly on the undercarbonated side, and I used the wit too, the 410 that comes out in the springtime. First time I tried it, and
is this force carbed or bottle conditioned?
Force carbed.
Oh, okay.
I like the set it and forget it method, so that's kind of why it's on the underside.
Yeah. It tastes like, it's almost like drinking juice almost.
Yeah.
It's good though. Alright, so getting into the real meat of the interview here. How old are you, where are you from, and what do you do for a living?
26, I'm from Ohio. Moved to, Kansas, Nebraska, Hawaii, now here.
Wow.
And I'm an engineer with Cargill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the giant agribusiness company, who also makes malt.
Yeah. So how did you get in? Did you get into homebrewing first or craft beer first?
That's a good question. I got into brewing country wines first, and then I got into craft beer, and then I got into homebrewing. So the first thing I ever made was a hard apple cider, and we pressed apples at my buddy's house when we were all 18. And then a couple weeks later, we added some cinnamon to it and put it in, this type of bottle, a bunch of Grolsch bottles, and then a couple weeks later, we all had a good time.
Cool. Was it carbonated? Or was it just like apple wine?
It was more like apple wine. It wasn't carbonated, and if it was by accident.
Cool. What was like your awakening into actual like craft beer or homebrewing?
The first thing, I distinctly remember this. I was in a bar at college called Skipper's, and a senior buddy of ours went up to the bar and ordered a couple pitchers, came back with them, and it looked a little hazy, and I wasn't sure what it was, and he poured them up.
Like this?
Like this, yes. Tried it, and it just literally I felt like my mind melted. And looking back, I tried to find that beer like the next coming weeks. I was like, what was that? I couldn't find it, and come to find out it was Blue Moon that actually turned me on to craft beer. So I've come a long way taste-wise. My palate has evolved a lot since then, but Blue Moon was actually what turned me on to craft beer.
Yeah, I remember having Blue Moon back when I was in the my friend's like, oh, it's this orange flavored beer. I was like, orange flavored beer? It sounds gross. And I had Blue Moon. I was like, yeah, that's interesting. That's weird. It's probably better than regular Bud Light or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So you did this apple wine, and you got into, do you remember how you actually got into actual beer home brewing?
I think it was just a natural extension of that. A lot of people start with I'm going to save money, and that's kind of what I thought too, being in college. And I drink a lot of beer. I make a lot of wine. Why don't I just try making beer too? And that's kind of how it evolved from there.
Cool.
It was terrible. The first 2 batches I had were just terrible.
Do you remember what you made?
I made a stout for the first one, and the running joke was it was motor oil. It wasn't carbonated. It tasted terrible. But we all drank it anyway.
Was it all extract, probably?
It was.
Speaking of which, so how long have you been homebrewing now? Like how many years?
Well, I've been making some type of fermented beverage for just over 8 years now, and I've been doing beer for probably about 6.
Right. So do you do? I mean, you must do all grain now, right?
Yes.
How long have you been doing all grain?
Probably 4 or 5 years.
Cool. What kind of equipment do you use?
I try to keep it pretty simple. I just have the same mash tun that I used in college, which is just a converted rectangular cooler.
Right.
8-gallon kettle, propane burner, Bayou Classic. I don't know the model number, but it's neither here nor there. Yeah, that's about it. I've been getting a little fancier with gadgets. You know, got a starter and a stir plate. Got a pH meter now.
Right.
I've started to freeze yeast vials, so I got vials, glycerin, all that good stuff. But the main core stuff, I like to keep it simple.
Cool. This isn't on the question list, but if you saw the macro lager challenge last week, well, actually it was like 3 weeks ago. I think. You are actually a BJCP certified judge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little about like how you got into that and what it required?
Sure. So I got into it in the quest to better my own beer and better tell what I'm drinking. As you know, you've tasted thousands of beers. It takes a lot of practice to refine your palate, and yeah, you know what you like, and you know if it's good or if it's bad. But do you know why it's good or why it's bad? You know, what is that specific flavor you're tasting?
Right. As far as the brewing, because like you don't mean like this like arguing taste, right? Right.
But sometimes you taste something and you're like, oh, I know what that is, but what is it? Or like I like that, but I don't know how to describe it. And that's kind of what BJCP helps you do.
Yeah.
I taste something I don't like. How do I describe that? And they kind of give you that knowledge and vocabulary. So I went through that, and I did that when I was living in Omaha. And they do classes you can do and stuff, but I just studied on my own. You really have to know the faults and what causes them.
How do you go about studying that on your own? Is there...
I made note cards, flashcards, and then I've been brewing for 4 years at that point, or 5 years at that point, so I kind of knew what faults were what and how they came about, and so I didn't need to figure out what diacetyl was, because I knew it from brewing so much, and I knew what acetaldehyde tasted like.
Right.
So, if you've never done it before, I recommend getting a flavor kit. They're like $20 or something.
Yeah, I've seen those, like the off flavors.
Yep.
Well, I guess we kind of already answered this one. Do you keg or bottle?
I exclusively keg now. Bottling is just a pain in the ass.
Have you brewed any lagers?
I have. Actually, I'm on quite a lager kick right now. I just brewed a fresh hop Pilsner with hops I grew in my backyard. And before that...
Is there any of this one?
Yeah, I've had it. Dunkels and Vienna. I'm trying to perfect my Vienna recipe right now, but yeah, I'm not been on a lager kick. I mean, it kind of seems lagers getting neglected in the craft beer market.
Yeah.
I feel
it's hard to do as a home brewer too,
It is. You need extra equipment. You need extra space. You really need to control your fermentation temperatures. You got to have a yeast starter, a big one. And I just kind of want to expand on that, because you see, there's so many just bland lagers out there. Even a lot of craft lagers are just like amber lager, or just like
just German Pilsner.
Yeah, like
Pilsner.
I want to see some super hoppy lagers, or some like a little bit like approaching that amber, but really hopped up, and just I feel like there's a lot of room for a lot of play with lagers.
Yeah, a lot of craft breweries are getting like imperial lagers now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you heard the Southern Tier Krampus they do at Christmas.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should get that. It's like a 8-9% lager, really hoppy. It has more hops than our IPA, they said.
Wow.
Yeah. Like a lot of the Coney Island ones they do. Those are all lagers.